Good morning, guys. We are in sunny Wyoming. I just attended the Escapees Escapade here at the Sweetwater Events Complex. I learned a bunch about my rig, and one thing I learned was all about my generator. Very important that I didn't really know. I knew I had to change my oil in my generator, but I didn't really know when. And it turns out I need to do it now. There was a very nice sticker left on my panel for me by the guys that sold me this RV that says oil change at 176 hours. Well, they didn't tell me where to check the hours, and I'm at 200. So it's time to change the oil. You should change your oil every 100 hours or once a year. However, whenever that comes first. So I need to change it today. So I have done a bunch of research, and I'm gonna take you guys through what I've learned. If there's stuff that you know that's better, probably learn it during this. But here we go. So things you're gonna need: socket wrench with I needed a 1/4-inch adapter with a T30. There you go, T30 bit. Okay. You're also gonna need a funnel, some type of pan, and your oil. I have a synthetic 5W30. It's the same that I put in my engine, and that is because I don't plan on going anyplace super cold or super hot, but this should be a pretty good mid-range. So the first thing that you are going to want to do is start your generator. Run it for about 5 minutes. All right, so after you've run your generator for about 5 minutes, the oil in it is warm, you're gonna need to take off this little, I don't know what it's called, but it's this guy, okay? Now this has some interesting screws on it. So you're gonna need your socket wrench with a T30 bit. You're only gonna need to take off one, and then you can just slide it right over. So again, that's what it looks like. Go. I already loosened it. There you go. And then this should move right over. You might need to loosen the other one just a little. There we go. Mine were super tight. Ta-da! All right. So now you can see this little piece just moves right over, and underneath there you have your oil plug. This right here. Okay, so now that your plug is free, we have our socket wrench with a half-inch socket. Just like changing your oil in your regular car, you are going to need to make sure that your pan is in place, because as soon as this comes out, the oil is coming out. So safety goggles, your gloves, be careful not to touch the muffler because that's going to be hot. And get out of the way of the oil. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Ta-da! So another thing I learned to help you drain the oil, help it drain a little bit faster, is to take the cap off. You can even just loosen it. It doesn't have to be all the way off, but this just lets air flow into it. You're gonna let this drain all the way out until there's no more drips. And then what we're actually gonna do is, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so now we have drained all of the oil, but here's the thing that I learned. You should not mix synthetic oil with mineral-based oil. It's not good for any engine to mix those two. And because I do not know what kind of oil they used before this, I am actually going to put in some of my synthetic oil. I'm gonna let the generator run for a few minutes. I'm gonna drain it out. It'll get anything out that was in there. So if there was mineral-based oil in there, it'll get that out. And then I'm gonna refill it with the synthetic fully. Do this slowly. You do not want to overfill your oil. So again, we've got the new oil in there, but because I didn't know what kind of oil was in it before, we're running it with a synthetic oil to clear everything out. We're gonna let it run for like 3 to 5 minutes just to work everything out, drain it, then fill it again. Also, thank you to Verl. I gotta double check his business card, but super helped me with this information. RVers are great about helping each other. He saw me doing this, came over to ask what I was doing, gave me a couple of tips and tricks. Be humble, guys. Take advice. It's not always bad, okay? You don't know everything, even if you think you do. So, once we have run it, again, same process. We're gonna take off that bottom, drain it, let it all drain, then we're gonna fill it up one more time. once we're down to this nice drip, drip, drip. I think there's a bug in here. We're gonna put the bolt back on. Leave the pan here. That way, when you fill everything up and run it again, you can double check and make sure there's no leaks before you move your pan. So get it to the point where you can work around it, but leave something there just in case. There's supposed to be a washer on here. Mine is gone. Keep that washer or buy one. Helps with the seal. Nice and clean. Yes. Nice and clean. Okay. I'm gonna get oil in my hair. Does motor oil count as hair oil? Is it as good as... Alright. Place the cap back on. Turn it back on one more time. Alright. Oil's in. Plug in. We don't have any leaks. We're gonna pop this screw right back in. I also put a bunch of WD-40 on this piece because it's very stuck. Tighten this up. Here. All right. Now you're good to put your panel back on. Recycle your oil.